You know those incredibly powerful AI models, the ones that live in massive data centers? Ever wonder how we can get all that brain power to fit right on your smartphone? Well, today we're going to dive into a really cool technique that does exactly that. It's all about making AI smaller, faster, and honestly, a whole lot smarter for everyday use.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Can a little AI, a compact one, actually be taught to think like one of those giant super smart models? It sounds kind of like science fiction, but the answer is a resounding yes. And the secret sauce is a technique called knowledge distillation.
All right, so what exactly is knowledge distillation? Well, at its heart, it's a really clever training method. The best way to think about it is like a master chef. That's our big, powerful teacher model, passing down their secrets to an apprentice, our little student model. The whole point isn't for the student to just copy the final dish, but to actually learn the technique, the intuition, the why behind it all.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this whole teacher-student dynamic.
So here's the fundamental problem we're trying to solve. The most powerful AI models we have today, they're absolute behemoths. We're talking massive, power-hungry models that are just way too big, too slow, and way too expensive to run on everyday gadgets like your phone or in your car. They're stuck in the data center.
Okay, so how does the student actually learn from the teacher? Here's the fascinating part. It's not about just memorizing the right answers. The real magic lies in learning something called dark knowledge. This is all the subtle stuff, the teacher's reasoning, the patterns it sees, the intuition it has before it even spits out a final answer.
So let's look at this comparison. On one side, you've got your standard training. The model gets a hard label. It's told, hey, this is a picture of a dog, 100%, end of story, super black and white. But look at the other side. This is where the teacher model comes in with soft targets. It doesn't just say dog. It says, I'm about 70% sure this is a dog. But, it also kind of looks 20% like a wolf and maybe 5% like a fox. See that? That extra information, that nuance, that is the dark knowledge we're talking about.
And this right here, this is the whole game. It's those soft probabilities, that rich tapestry of information about how different things are related. That's what the student is learning. It's not just about getting the answer right, it's about learning the teacher's entire thought process.
Okay, so you're probably wondering how this all comes together in practice. Let's walk through the actual recipe for distillation.
Think of it like a 5-step process. First, both the teacher and the student look at the same piece of data and make their own predictions. Then, the student gets feedback from 2 different directions. First, it's checked against the actual correct answer, what we call the true label. But here's the critical bit. It's also compared to the teacher's thought process. It's soft predictions. And the training is this beautiful blend of both lessons, pushing the student to be not just correct, but to think correctly.
And to get this just right, we have a couple of control knobs we can tweak. First up is temperature. This is a really cool one. Cranking up the temperature basically softens the teacher's predictions, making all that juicy dark knowledge, the subtle details, easier for the student to see. Then you have alpha, which is basically a balancing act. It controls how much the student pays attention to the teacher's advice versus the hard and fast ground truth.
But, what we've just talked about is really just the classic recipe. The field has exploded, and now there's a whole family of different distillation methods out there.
Yeah, look at all these different flavors. Offline distillation, that's the classic teacher-student setup we've been talking about. But then you have things like feature distillation, which is where the student tries to copy the teacher's internal brainwaves, not just its final output. Or attention transfer, where it learns what the teacher is paying attention to. It gets even wilder. With online learning, you have models teaching each other at the same time. And get this, self-distillation is where a model literally teaches itself to get better. It's a super dynamic area of research.
Okay, this stuff is all technically very cool, but let's bring it back down to earth. Why does any of this actually matter? What's the real-world impact?
The biggest, most obvious win here is model compression. I mean, just look at this. You can take a massive teacher model and shrink all its wisdom down into a student model that's just a tiny fraction of the original size. This is what makes it possible to fit powerful AI onto devices that just don't have a lot of memory to spare.
And here's the other side of that coin. Smaller models are way, way faster. We're talking about the student being able to make its decisions, what we call inference, 5 times faster, sometimes even more. That's a huge deal for anything that needs to happen in real time, like the effects in your video calls or instant translation apps.
So when you put it all together, the impact is huge. This is the magic behind the smarter cameras in our phones or those voice assistants that can work even when you're offline. For developers, it means they can take a whole bunch of different specialized models and distill them into one lean, mean, general-purpose machine. And there's a really important privacy angle, too. You can train a student model using a teacher's knowledge without ever giving the student access to the original private data. That's a game changer.
Now, it's not all sunshine and roses. Knowledge distillation isn't some magic wand. It definitely has its own challenges that we have to think about.
For sure, there are some common hurdles. For one, if your student model is too simple, it might just not have the brain power to understand the teacher's lessons. That's the capacity gap. And of course, garbage in, garbage out. A bad teacher will just create a bad student. Plus, getting those settings like temperature and alpha just right can be really tricky. It's an art as much as a science.
And that brings us to a really mind-bending final thought. What happens when the student actually surpasses the teacher? And this isn't just a what-if scenario. It's a real field of study. There's this idea of born-again networks, where you take the now smarter student and it becomes the new, better teacher for the next generation of models. It really makes you stop and think. What happens when AI gets good at teaching itself how to learn better and better? Where does that lead?